Hi, this is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to be playing a game called Hotshots. It's a cooperative game about fighting wildfires that sort of went under the radar, I think, for a lot of people, but it's a really fun game, so I figured I would kind of try and spotlight it a little bit. I'm going to play through a game of it solo using the solo rules provided in the rulebook. And I'm probably going to explain the game a little bit more than I normally would as I go through it, since I think a lot of people are not super familiar with the game. But we'll go ahead and go over to the desk here where I have it set up, and I'll walk you through what's going on, and we'll get the game started. So this is a game of Hotshots set up. As you can see, you have a map made up of tiles, so the map is modular. You have some dice that you're going to be rolling. This is the main mechanism of the game. In a single-player game, you use two characters, which are represented by these two character cards. They have different special abilities, but you can use either character on each turn in a single-player game. Along with these cards, you also have these little tokens that represent the characters. So those are going to start out over here on the fire camp. Another important thing in the game is you have this little token, which represents the wind direction. That sits on the fire camp, and it starts out facing due north. So the wind is blowing north at the moment. And that'll affect how fire will spread across the map. You have these very fancy looking fire tokens. You start out with a certain number of them on the map, and they are always placed in the same places. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to contain the fire. You want to prevent these fire tokens from spreading. And the overall object of the game is actually to remove all of these tokens from the board. That's how you win. The way you will lose is if you get too many fire tokens on a single tile. So for example, take this tile here. It has this number in the right-hand corner, the 3, over a fire icon. So if you ever have 3 fire tokens on this tile, it gets scorched. So you'll flip it over to this side, and if you have 8 tiles scorched, then you lose the game. Or if this tile here, which is your fire camp, ever gets scorched, then you lose the game immediately. So on your turn, you're going to move 1 or 2 spaces, or none if you prefer, and then you're going to fight the fire on that space, which you do by rolling these dice. So I'll just demonstrate how that works. Go ahead and take my first turn. So we're going to take this character here. He's the Swamper, and we're going to move him 1 space over to here. Now, there are some limitations on what you can do as far as movement goes. You can never move onto this tile, which is the lake. And if you move onto a tile with fire, you have to stop immediately. You can't move through that tile. So we're going to stop our movement here on this tile, and we're going to go ahead and fight the fire there. So we're going to roll all 6 of these dice. Before I roll them, I'm just going to show you these are custom dice with different symbols on each side. Each side basically represents different tools used to fight fires, or you have this one which represents a firefighter. So we're going to roll all 6 of these, and then we have to set aside at least 1 of these dice, but we can set aside as many as we like. So I'm going to set aside 2 of these dice that have this blue symbol, and the reason I'm choosing to do that, and we'll show you this tile a little more closely real quick. As you can see at the bottom of the tile, you have a series of 6 symbols, and those are the symbols I'm trying to get on the dice in order to successfully fight the fire there. So I've got 2 of those blue symbols. I need 2 more blue. I need a yellow and an orange. We have an orange, so I'll grab that one as well. And so, yeah, now we're just basically we need a firefighter, and we need 2 more of these rakes. Now, since I've set aside 3 dice, I can re-roll the other dice, but at least one of the other dice at least one of these 3 dice, when I roll them, needs to come up something I can use. So at this point, I could choose not to re-roll these dice and just stick with the 3 I have, because that maybe less risky. However, I'm in a good position to go ahead and re-roll, and I'll explain a little bit why after I re-roll. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so I got another blue, so that's good. We'll lock that in. So now we've got 3 of these rakes and the chainsaw. I just need a firefighter and another rake, and I've got 2 dice left. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll them, which might be a little risky, but again, I think I'm going to be okay. All right, so I didn't roll anything that I needed with these 2 dice. I rolled these 2 symbols. I need a chainsaw, but I already had 1 chainsaw, and I don't need the axe at all. So normally this would mean that my roll blows up, is the term they use, which means I would lose all the dice that I've already rolled, and I would add 1 fire to this tile and not have made any progress. However, because I am next to the lake, I have support, which means I can ignore 1 blow up. So that's why I kept rolling. This would be my blow up. I'm just going to ignore it with the support from the lake, and just going to stop now with these 4 good results here. So because I have 4 good results here, I can use that to remove this 1 fire from there. So that's what I'm going to do. I could, if I wanted, go for a lesser result. You need at least 3 dice that match your symbols here to get any kind of good result. And that would let me add 1 of these fire break tokens, which I'll explain a little later in the game what those do when they come up. But I'm going to go with the best result that I can, which is 4 dice to remove 1 flame. So that's what we'll do there. Alright, so I've moved, I've fought the fire, now I draw a fire card, and this tells us what the fire does. Okay, so we have a gust of wind. That's what this card means, which means fire is going to spread in the direction that the wind is blowing. The wind is blowing due north, so fire is going to move to the north, and that's going to be bad for me. So mainly because fire is going to move from this spot up to here, which is where there's a propane tank. That's a really dangerous place to have fire. Nowhere else does fire move, because here, if it goes north, it goes off the board. You don't have to worry about that. Same thing here. Same thing here. This one would go north to this spot, but there's already fire there, so that card doesn't make you add fire to any space where there's already fire. It just makes you add fire to spaces where there is none. So now we're going to be on another turn. And this time we can again use either character. So, which character should we use? Well, I think this time I'll use the Sawyer. He's the other character, and he's going to move from the camp. He's going to move twice, once here, and then here to where the propane tank is. And we're going to try and get rid of that fire as quick as we can, because obviously fire with a propane tank is not a good combination. So here we go. Okay, well, we got 2 of these rakes, which we need. We've got 1 chainsaw, which we need, and we need 3 axes. Okay. All right, well, again, we have support from the lake, so let's go ahead and roll again. All right, and we got 1 axe that we needed, so that's good. And again, we've got support from the lake, so we might as well roll again. Okay, we got the 1 firefighter. No, we didn't need a firefighter. I'm looking at the wrong spot. We needed 2 more axes. All right, so we didn't get anything. This would be a blow up. But again, support from the lake means we could ignore the blow up and just stop here. 4 results means we can remove that flame. So, danger averted for now. Draw a card. Okay, so this card right here means we add a flame to this particular tile. And this particular tile is over here. All right. Okay, so now I take another turn. What to do? Well, right now, because the wind is blowing north, the propane tank is still going to be in danger from this spot right here. So we need to try and do something about this over here so it doesn't keep endangering the propane tank. So I'm going to take the same guy I used last time, and I'm going to move him down there and have him fight the fire there. Alright, he got one of these, which is useful, one of these, which is useful, and that's it. Yeah. So, now he doesn't have support here, but he's rolling 4 dice. And 3 is not enough to do any, I mean, two dice down here is not enough to do anything with anyway, so I might as well re-roll these 4 for at least one more good result. Okay, we got another firefighter. So we've got 3 good results. I've got 3 dice I could re-roll. Man, it's kind of iffy at this point. But you know what? I'm going to go for it. Okay, nice. So I got another axe. All right. So now we've got 4 good results. Man, it's like, do I push for one more? So the reason, normally I would say no, stop there because it's too risky to push for one more. But the reason why I'm considering it is because his special ability lets him basically exchange an axe for a chainsaw or vice versa. And since I need 2 chainsaws, that means basically that there are 2 results on the die that would be good. I could roll a chainsaw and have exactly what I need, or I could roll an axe and turn it into a chainsaw. So that's like a 33% chance of getting what I need on either of these dice, and I only need one of them to come up one of those 2 things. But you know what, it just feels a little too risky, and I've already got 4 successes, so I don't want to squander that. So 4 successes will let me take out one of these flames. So, alright, that's progress. Okay, draw a card. Alright, so now this means we need to add a flame to 2 different tiles that each get scorched at 5 flames. So we gotta look for 2 different tiles that each scorch at 5 flames. We have exactly 2 tiles that do that, and it has to be, let me think, I believe it has to be tiles that already have flame. Let me just make sure. Yes, they have to be currently burning tiles. Okay, so we gotta add one here, and we gotta add one here. Okay, that's bad because these 2 tiles, which scorch at 5 and currently have 4, are also the tiles that give my characters their special abilities. So if either of these tiles gets scorched, my characters lose their special abilities. So I gotta think about what to do about that. Okay, well, I could take, let's see, I could take this guy again, and I could move him over here to fight that fire. It might not be a bad idea, because, yeah, it's gonna get out of control pretty quick. So let's do that. He's gonna move there, and he's gonna roll. Okay, we got some good results already, I can see. Yeah. Alright, so we got 4 good results already. Question is, do we want to try and roll those other 2 dice? We'd be risking a blow up. And this character doesn't have, his ability is not going to help me get any of those other results. So I'm going to call it there and remove 1 flame because we got 4 results, so we can do that. And then draw a card, see what happens. Alright, so the wind is changing direction. That's what this card means. So the wind changes to go kind of southwest, and then the wind blows in that direction. So that means from here, we're going to have fire spread to here. And from here, fire's going to, oh, that's bad. Going to spread to there. And from here, fire is going to spread to here. And that's all we do for the fire spreading. So now, fire spread to this tile, and this tile has a scorch rating of 1, so it automatically gets scorched. So we flip it over, that's one tile scorched. We take the flames off of it, but we have to move one flame to an adjacent spot. And we start with a spot that has the lowest number in the corner. And if there are multiple that have the same number, then we go to the one that has the least number of flames. So that would be this spot right here. All right, so fire spreads there. Okay, and we have one of our 8 tiles scorched. So if we get 7 more scorched, we're out of the game. Okay, so another player, or another turn anyway. Let's see, what do I want to do with my next turn? Well, I'm still worried about this spot up here because it's got 4 flames. So it might be good to kind of start moving in that direction. Okay, so we'll take this guy and he'll go 1, 2 and stop there and fight the fire at that side. So what is he's got an axe, he's got a chainsaw. Okay. And this is the swamper. He doesn't have anything that'll help him get hoses, and that's what he needs. He needs 4 hoses. So we'll roll again. Okay, he didn't get any hoses, so this would blow up. But he's got support from the lake, so he can ignore the blow up. And he might as well roll again because he's only got 2 good results right now. Ah man, and another blow up. So we add a fire there, and that is it. And we draw a fire card. Okay, alright, so this is bad. So now we gotta add we gotta add this to the 2, and we gotta add 1 to a 5 that's already on fire. But we can choose which 5, so let's put it right here, because that's got the least number of flames. Okay, but this had a scorch rating of 2, so it gets scorched now that it has 2 flames on it. So that's scorch number 2, and one of these is going to go to the propane tank, unfortunately, so that's in danger now. Alright, and let's see, what do we do next? Well, well, I think this guy is going to need to maybe he'll stay where he is and fight this fire. I don't know though, I'm kind of worried about the propane. Yeah, this spot's safe for now because it would need 2 more fire to get scorched. So he's going to take 2 steps over here to where the propane is and try to fight that fire. So let's see, we've got an axe, we've got a chainsaw, we've got 2 more chainsaws that we can turn into axes because his special ability. And so that means he's got 4 good results. And he might as well roll these last 2 dice again because he's got support from the lake. Okay, one of those was good, and the other one is not. But you know what? He could roll it again because he still has support from the lake. Nope. I did that just on the off chance I might get the result I need, but didn't happen, but that's okay. He's got support. He can ignore that blow up. And he's got 5 good results. So he can remove 2 flame tokens. There's only 1 there. But he also can get a bonus token or put a fire break somewhere. Well, bonus tokens are pretty good, and I'll get into them a little bit later, but let's go ahead and start with a fire break. Because I am concerned about the fire getting back into this area with the propane. So we want to kind of cut it off if possible. So I'm going to put this fire break here between these two spots, and the reason why I'm thinking that is so far the fire's been spreading up from here, but the wind direction has changed now to where it's going like this, and I think it'll be maybe well, not totally unlikely that it'll change back to this direction, but I'm just more concerned about it coming from some other direction. So that's what we'll do for now. And then we'll draw a card. Okay, so we got to find a spot with 4. That's with a scorch rating of 4 that's on fire, and then add 2 to it. That basically leaves us with 2 options. We've got this option down here and this option up here. If we add 2 to this, it's going to get scorched. So we'll put 2 down here. All right, someone else has got to take a turn. So well, I feel like maybe I should start taking advantage of the airstrip over here. There's some cool tokens on there that let me do some neat things. So maybe I'll do that. That might be the most effective use of my turn. So I'm going to have this guy go 1, 2, and then instead of fighting fire here, he gets to use one of these tokens. So he's going to go ahead and use the airplane. So we just discard that token, and we get to choose. Oh, no, actually that's not ideal. Let me think about that again. Yeah. All right, he's going to use the helicopter. So we just discard that token over here. We choose any spot on the board except for this spot because it's got power lines. You can't use the airplane or the helicopter there. We'll pick this spot up here and we get rid of all the fire there. And we drop our guy there. Okay. So that's his turn. We have to draw a card. All right, so we got to add some fire to a couple of spots that scorch at 3. So we've got basically just, well, we've got this one and this one, so we'll go with those. Okay, now it's another turn. So it might be worth going ahead and stepping over here and dealing with this. But it might be better to deal with these two because they're both pretty close to getting scorched. This one's pretty close to getting scorched too, though, for that matter. Oh man, it's a hard call. Well, I'm gonna step up here and fight this fire. Okay. So I got 2 dice I can use. And I've got 4 to reroll. All right, we got 1 hose and 3 to reroll. All right, so this would be a blow up, but I have support from the lake, so I stop there with 3, which just lets me add a fire break. So where do I not want this to go if it's going to blow up? Probably not here. And by blow up, I mean if it scorches. I don't want it to go that way if it scorches. All right. Oh, the wind changes direction again. So now it is going in this direction. And the wind's going to blow in that direction, which means we're going to put fire here. We're going to put fire here. We're going to put fire here. And we're going to put fire there. Wow, that was a bad one. Added a lot of fire to the board. Okay. Well, I feel like now would probably be a good time to use the airplane. So let's do that. This guy's going to go 1, 2, use the airplane. So with the airplane, we're going to trace a route of 3 tiles on the board. So I just got to figure out which 3 tiles I want to hit. And then I'm going to take 1 fire off of each of those 3 tiles. Well, I don't want to lose this spot if I can help it. I don't want this to scorch either, because it's going to go towards the propane if it does. Yeah, I don't know, that's tricky. Alright, well I feel like I should try and hit these 2 maybe, because they're both 3s, so they're both pretty close to getting scorched. And then I can hit this one as well maybe. So I can go 1, 2, 3. And then I gotta put my guy in one of these spots. So we'll put him right there. Okay, draw a card. Oh, wind direction changes yet again. So now it's blowing that way, and we got to add some fire. So that's going to blow there. That's going to blow into the propane, and that's it. We just added 2, so we got kind of a dangerous situation here with the propane, but otherwise that was not terribly bad for me. Okay, well, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit to get to that propane and deal with it. But let's go ahead and move here and try and fight that fire. So we've got an axe and a chainsaw. And that's it. Might as well re-roll, trying to get some hoses. Nope, no hoses. That would blow up. But we're next to the lake, so we're okay. Alright, 1 hose. And I think that's where we're going to stop. So we get to add a fire break somewhere. Right now the wind's blowing that way, but I don't have to worry about the fire blowing into here because this tile's already scorched. Scorched tiles don't get more fire. Maybe I'll go ahead and just block off this. Okay, then we gotta draw a card. Oh snap. So this means we add a flame to the propane tank and it's gonna blow up. So we're gonna flip it over. It got scorched, and the bad thing about the propane tank is when it gets scorched, you have to add fire to each adjacent tile. So you never add fire to the lake, and you don't add fire to a tile that's already scorched, but we add fire to all these. This one just got 4, so it's gonna also get scorched. And that means it adds 1 to here, which means this one also gets scorched and adds 1 to there. And we now have 5 scorched tiles, more than halfway to being a loss. So that ain't great. Okay, and I just drew the card, so now we're starting a new turn. So, man, that's bad. All right. Well, we definitely don't want to lose this one because that loses us the game automatically, and it's got 1 fire. So I could try to get over there and do something about that. But I don't think that's my biggest problem at the moment. Right now the wind is going that way, which means wind isn't really a problem. Okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to have this guy step over here and try to fight that fire. And mainly because I'm just trying to move him kind of sort of back towards the middle of everything, so he's not way off by himself. Okay, so I got 3 good dice out of that roll. I could re-roll, but then obviously there's the possibility of a bust, although I have a 50% chance of getting something that I could use, so I'll go with that. I'll take those odds. Yeah, there we go. Alright, yeah, so I got 4. That lets me remove one of these. Let me draw a card. Alright, so we're adding 1 fire to this spot right there. Okay, not great, but not horrible. And we get another turn, so I think I'm going to keep working on this idea over here. Okay, we got a couple of shovels which we can use. And that's it. Alright, so my odds are now only like 30% or something like that of rolling something I need on each of these dice. Okay, that was good. Alright, not great over here. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And that didn't work out well. Alright, so we blew up there, which means we had 1 fire, didn't make any progress. Draw a card. Okay, so I gotta add fire to 2 spots that have a 3. Put 1 there, and we'll put 1 here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go back to this guy and try his thing again. Alright, so we've got these, those are good. We've got that, that's good. Alright, and we've got a 50% chance of rolling something else I can use. Here we go. Alright, let me remove 1 fire. Draw a card. Alright, I'm adding fire to places that are already burning, and that gets scorched out of 5, so we gotta go there, and we'll go there. Alright, let's try this again over here. See if we can take out that last fire there. Okay, those are good. That's good. Alright, I just need like a shovel or a hose. Got a shovel. Alright, got rid of that. Alright, we gotta add something to burning places that are scorched at 4. So we'll go with this one and this one. Okay, what's next? Well, I could go back to maybe trying to fight the fire there. Or I could try to get it out of this corner. He's up there. He might as well keep working on that, I think. Okay, what do we got? So, one of these is useful. And that's about it. Okay, so re-roll. Hopefully get some good stuff. That's useful. And that's useful. Okay, so I've got 3 dice to re-roll, and I would need at least one of them to come up a firefighter. Otherwise, I could just add a fire break and call it a day. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just add a fire break. So we'll add the fire break here. So at least we don't have to worry about fire coming out of here up there and getting, back up in that corner again. Alright, I gotta add to a 5 and a 3. So we'll add to this 5 here, because it's the lowest 5 at the moment. And as far as 3s go, we've got a good number of options, but every option is going to cause a scorch. So we'll go there. So this spot just got scorched. We flip that over. We've now got 6 scorches, and this goes there. Okay. And 2 more scorches, and we are gone. So what next? Well, I'll go back to this guy, have him do his thing. Although, I don't know, man. This is rough. We gotta try and prevent more scorches, so I'm gonna have this guy do his thing, where he's at. Okay, we got one hose, we got an axe, and we can turn this axe into a chainsaw. Alright, and we're trying to get 3 more hoses, and he's got support, so he might as well re-roll. Ooh, got 2 more hoses, nice. And he still has support, so I might as well re-roll. And that would be a blow up, but he's got the support, so. Alright, well we've got 5. We get to remove 2 flames. Okay, and we either get to get a bonus token or add a fire break. Well, the only reason to have a fire break is I could put it right here and I could prevent fire from moving from here into there. The wind's not blowing that direction right now. This is still 2 away from getting scorched. So I think I'll go ahead and grab a bonus token. So I'm just going to grab a random token out of this. Okay. And I have to reference the rulebook real quick to remind myself what that does. Move to any tile. Can be used in addition to regular movement. Okay, so that's what that does. I can spend this token anytime I want to move either of my guys to any tile. Alright, I don't know how great that is, but it's something. Alright, gotta add fire to a 4 and a 5. Well, here's a 4 right here. I can put it on without blowing anything up. And I guess I'll go ahead and put the 5 there. Okay. Alright, so what's next? We got rid of this fire completely. This is pretty close to getting scorched. So maybe I'll move here and do that. And I've got support from the lake, so that's good. Okay, I got 2 hoses, which I need. I've got a firefighter, which I need. And that's it. Well, might as well reroll. Okay. Nothing that will help me. So that would normally be a blow up, but again, I have support from the lake, so I can ignore that. And I can use it to add a fire break. So I'm going to put the fire break maybe here, so that I don't have to worry. But if this gets scorched, the fire would go, it would go here, and if I have that blocked, it would go there, and that would get scorched. So I think actually I'll put it here to maybe prevent that from getting scorched, just in case. Yeah, I'll go with that. Gotta draw a card. Okay, we gotta add fire to this campsite. Where's the campsite? I think the campsite's already scorched. I think it was over here. No, it was like right here. Yeah, let me see if I got that right. Yep, it's already scorched, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, well that's cool. It's kind of like a free turn. Alright, so what's next? I guess we'll try and fight fire again here, because I gotta make some progress there. Alright, we got a rake we can use. We've got a couple of hoses. Wow, we got 5 right on our first turn. We just need another axe. If this comes up an axe or a chainsaw, it'll be good because of my special ability. It came up a chainsaw, I can turn into an axe. Nice. Okay, so I got 6 matches on that roll, which means I can remove 3 flames. I get a random token from this bag. And this random token lets me place 1 fire break on the tile you're currently on. Okay, and I also get to add 1 fire break to the spot that I'm on. So I'll go ahead and put it maybe there, just to make sure fire doesn't travel that way. Okay, nice. And I have to draw a card. So the wind direction is going to change there. And the wind is going to blow, but it's not really going to do anything. Between scorched tiles and fire breaks, the wind had no effect there, which is good. So, let's see what happens next. Next turn. All right, well, let's do something. Let's switch things up a little bit because we've got this under control pretty well. So let's switch things up a bit and move here and roll for that spot. So I got an axe, which I can use. I've got a shovel, which I can use. I've got a firefighter I can use. And I need another firefighter and 2 hoses. Well, I could just stop where I'm at, which is probably the safer thing to do. So I'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and add. I'm going to use these 3 to get a fire break, and I'll add it here. Well, actually I'll add it here because I want to try and make sure the flame doesn't go back this way for any reason. I want to keep the flame moving this way so I can move my guys out that way. All right. Ooh, this is bad. Okay, so the wind blows, and this means that the wind blows, and not only are we adding fire to spaces that don't have fire, but we're adding fire to spaces that already have fire. But I think we're still in pretty good shape because of the direction of the wind blowing. So the wind's blowing this way, nothing's going to happen here. Nothing's going to happen here because we've got a fire break. Nothing happens here because the fire break. These tiles are scorched. So the only thing that happens is we add 1 more fire to that spot, which is not great, but it's manageable. Okay, so next turn. All right, I think this guy's going to go ahead. Well, this guy's going to move up here and fight fire. All right, so this guy's fighting the fire, and because he has this other guy on his spot, we've got both guys on the same spot, he has support, just like being next to the lake. And he got a pretty crappy roll. He can turn this into an axe, so that's 1 die, and then he can reroll all the others. Okay, he got a shovel, and he can reroll the others. And he got a firefighter, and he can reroll the others. Now I'm just trying to get firefighters. Oh, we got 1 firefighter. Alright, I can reroll the other 2. Alright, so this would be a blow up, but again I got support from the guy I'm on the space with. So I can remove 1 flame. So that's what we'll do. And then we draw a card. Alright, so we got to add fire to spaces that are a 5 and already on fire. We got to do 2 of them. So put 1 there. We'll put 1 there. Okay. So let's do the same thing. And with the same character, might as well. Okay, so we got an axe. And we got 2 firefighters. So we need to try and get a shovel or another firefighter. Oh, we got another firefighter and a shovel. Okay, well, since we have support, might as well re-roll this last die. Didn't do anything, but no blow up. So we got 5. So with 5, we can remove 2 flames. There's only 1 there, so we get rid of it. And then we get either a token or a fire break. So let's go ahead and grab another one of these tokens. Nice. So this token When I'm rolling dice, I can use this to either get a firefighter or a hose as needed. And I'm going to go ahead and spend this token, which just lets me add a fire break to the tile I'm on. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there, just to kind of seal that off. Now I got to draw a card. Alright, so I got to add something to a 4 and a 3. Well, there's only one 3 that has fire on it, and that's this spot, which is bad because it's going to get scorched. And then the 4, we might as well add to this spot because it's going to get scorched anyway. And I think that's going to lose me the game. Did that just lose me the game? I've got 4 scorched tiles here, 5, 6, and then these are both going to get scorched. So 7, 8. Yep, and that'll be a loss. Wow. Okay, so there you go. Well, it was, as you can see, it's a fairly challenging game. One of the things that I like about this game is that you can do a lot to manipulate the difficulty of it. Just the arrangement of the tiles can create more or less difficult scenarios. They also give you some suggestions about changing the setup, using less fire at the beginning of the game. You can also start the game out with some of these tokens if you want. And they give you a few other suggestions about how you can adjust the difficulty. But this was basically just the standard difficulty. The only thing I adjusted slightly was I took a couple of cards out of the fire deck, like the 2 worst cards I took out of the fire deck, just to make it a little bit easier for me. But otherwise, I was basically standard difficulty. And you can see I did not win. Some of that was probably my strategy. I probably should have kept these guys together earlier instead of splitting them up so much, because having that support is really useful. But yeah, so that's it. We'll go back up top and talk about it for just a minute. So that hopefully gives you a pretty good idea of what a game of Hotshots is like. As you can see, it's a pretty nice cooperative game, or solo. As you can see, there's 4 different characters. You can play up to 4 players. Each character gets a slightly different ability. The 2 characters I was playing with basically had the opportunity to manipulate the dice a little bit. One of the characters lets you, when you draw that fire card, you can instead draw 2 and pick which one you want to use. You put the other one back on top of the deck. And then the 4th character that you can choose lets you move other people around on his turn. So a few different options there for different character abilities to kind of vary things. It's a lot of, moving around and trying to hit the hot spots, so to speak, trying to keep things contained. It has that dice mechanism to it, which creates sort of a push your luck type of scenario. But it's not completely luck-based, because as you can see, there's ways to sort of protect yourself from those blow-ups when you don't get the dice result you need by either working together, working close to the lake, etc. You also have like the bonus tokens that you can pick up if you get good rolls, and those can help you mitigate the luck a little bit. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting game. Again, my name's Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you notice me make any rules mistakes or anything like that, please feel free to point them out to me. If you have any comments about my strategy, things I can sharpen up in that regard, again, feel free to point them out to me. I love to hear stuff like that. But again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.